Hi guys, thought I'd just pop in with another little video. Thought I'd do a little bit of real time on my big project that I'm working on at the moment, which is the Pilgrim by the Long Dog Samplers. I'm madly in love with this pattern, which I'm sure you've gathered from if you've watched my other videos already. So much cat hair. Oh my god, I reckon I could probably have half a cat's worth of hair in here. Makes a bit of an heirloom. Preserving. Oh, I missed a stitch up there. Oh well. So how's your week been? Hopefully not too crazy. It's nice to be able to kick back every now and then and just have a nice quiet one. And it's Sunday today, so I'm not doing too much at all. Husband's off in the other room playing his computer games as he does, and thought I'd just hang out in here and get a bit more of this done. So it's a nice cruisy day. We did a little bit of housework this morning and decided to give the pantry a bit of a clean out because it was an absolute mess. When we got married in February, we did a big grazing table for our food. So we bought a heap of things from the local deli, and we had so much left over. I've still got half a massive box of crackers and things left, and just trying to find space for it all and slowly get through it though, which is good. At least it's handy for when friends come over. We just pop out a box of bickies, and we've got heaps of cheese left too. We had our wedding cake, and inverted commas, was just wheels of cheese. So we had the base layer was a massive big wheel of parmesan. Then we had something else in the middle which I don't remember, and then 2 big wheels of camembert on top. So yeah, we literally were left with the whole bottom wheel of parmesan, which is, put into perspective, I think is about $300 worth of parmesan. So we divided that all up and have a nice big stash in the fridge out in the garage at the moment. So I'm just trying to give it away to a lot of people as well because it's just so much. It's unreal. Just cut it up into chunks, and then I just whizzed up a bunch in the Thermomix just to have a grated parmesan, and then all the rest went in the freezer just to keep it a bit longer. And then, so that's really handy. But I've got 20 years of parmesan to use. So if anyone's got any good ideas except for on top of pasta, I'd be very grateful. But, can't complain. I always love it. It's, at least I don't have to buy it for a very, very long time. So it's a beautiful day here today. We've got sun shining. It's really lovely, but it is a bit windy, being middle of winter. So, but making the most of having a little bit of sun, and not outside. It'd be perfect. I'd love to be out in the veggie garden and doing something in there. It's looking a bit bare at the moment, so hopefully in the next tomorrow's meant to be a nice day, so I might even get out there tomorrow and put in a few seedlings of some kind and try and get it going. Spent last weekend out there and we cleaned a heap of things up and put the compost. I've got a big compost bin, and I put a heap of that in one of the garden beds just to try and give it a bit more nutrients and hopefully make better veggies out of it. So be nice. So at the moment I pretty much only got a rhubarb in, which has been struggling along. I got it off my grandparents a couple of years ago, and husband in all his wisdom was out there doing the lawns one day and he whippersnipped right over the top of it. And then I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I thought it was grass." How anybody confuses great big huge leaves and red stalks for grass, I have no idea. But, you know, oh, I've missed one. Good old husbands, eh? I'm glad he's not in charge of the veggie garden, because I don't know if we'd get much out of it. So I went to a local craft show yesterday to stock up on some more black floss for this, because I only had a couple of skeins left, and they only had 8 skeins there. So of course I had to buy them all, because I don't know when they're going to get more in. They're pretty slack with that sort of thing. That's not something that's high on their priority list for stocking, unfortunately. So the cross-stitch section and the embroidery section is quite small, so you just sort of have to take what you can. But I think the next time I start a new project, I might look into buying them online. I've heard, I think it's JK's cross-stitch supplies, or JK supplies. Another one called Itchy Stitchy, that have quite a few, you know, a big range available anyway, and that they're pretty good prices. So I might do that, because they're really expensive at my Spotlight store. For Australia anyway, we pay $1.30 a skein, which is, I mean, it's not a lot really, but you know, it all adds up pretty quickly. And especially if you're doing a kit with a lot of colours, or a pattern with a lot of colours, it's just crazy. So yeah, it's not exactly a cheap hobby, but you know, it keeps us sane, doesn't it? I always try and do a little bit of, what's the word, mindfulness when I'm stitching, and I just sit. Obviously I'm concentrating on it, but without concentrating, so it's sort of, without thinking of it. So it's like I sit here and try and listen to all the different sounds that are going on around. So you've got the birds and the wind in the trees and all kinds of things that are happening outside, and it just sort of just adds that little bit extra awareness to your surroundings, and I think it's a really nice way to relax. So that's always, you know, try and make the most of feeling good when you're stitching, and that's one way I like to do that. Trying to think of ideas for dinner tonight. Went to the supermarket yesterday and stocked up on all the things for the week, and I'm someone who likes to find lots of bargains, and especially things, you know, say the meat, for example, that's getting close to the use by date, and they discount it. So it's a good way to save a lot of money. Like I think I got about a week's worth of groceries yesterday for about $100, which I thought was pretty good. I mean, that's just for 2 of us, but yeah, I feel like that's just it's a good way to save a bit of money. Just trying to make sure I'm in the right spot here. Make sure our money goes as far as it can, and you know, we still eat pretty good meals out of those things. It might be a little bit repetitive after a little while, but it's always fun coming up with new ideas. I'm actually a qualified chef, so it's I've always enjoyed cooking, and you know, trying something different and experimenting a bit. So I think tonight I was hoping to do a red chicken curry. So I bought the red curry paste and the coconut cream, and really love bean shoots. We went to Vietnam in February for our honeymoon, and pretty much everything had bean shoots on it, and it was just so good. So we were a little bit hooked on that. So we just chuck it all in a big pot and boil it up and maybe serve with, I think I was going to make it into a bit of a soup instead of just a curry with rice. And we've got some the rice noodles. It should be good. We husband and I often joke that we one of the first questions that we should have asked each other was, do you like coriander? Because we both absolutely love it, and we're just like, oh, I don't know, maybe that would have been a bit of a deal breaker if you hadn't liked it. So we actually met on Tinder, of all places. We had a lot of friends in common, and we were kind of just like, oh, yeah, no, I'll see what this person's like. And we met up and just couldn't believe that we hadn't crossed paths before, because we had so many people that we knew. And yeah, it just kind of went from there. So we've been together, I think it's 5 years. Don't hold me to that, but around 5 years or so. And it's just been fantastic. He's just, you know, without sounding really cliche, he's just the man I've always ever wanted to meet. And turns out he was right around the corner the whole time, which is really lovely. So, very lucky girl indeed. He's like I mentioned, he's playing his games. He's trying to get his a bit of a following up on there, and plays a game called Escape from Tarkov. You know, shoot 'em up, bang bang, like the blokes like to do, and just has a great time with people from all over the world and makes lots of friends and has a good time. But yeah, you can get a little bit loud, so I had to pop in before, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to start filming some stitching, so I'm just going to shut all the doors, because you could hear him, and he does tend to swear a little bit when he gets a bit excited or he gets shocked. So. I've just on my couple of days off now, I own a gift shop called Little Fox Collectibles, and that's in based in a really small town called Rosedale in Gippsland, Victoria. And I have the shop with my mum, and we're open 7 days, but we just do 2 days on, 2 days off, so that we can both just have a bit of freedom, and it doesn't really seem like we're working. So that's really nice. It's a good way to keep us sane, but we're both very creative. Mum's actually an artist and graphic designer and all round extremely clever person. So she, well, both of us, but we like to, I mean, I'm saying that she's the clever one also, but we both like to do a lot of creative and crafty things. So yeah, it's a really nice work balance, especially compared to, you know, my whole life. Since I was old enough to work, I've worked, and then I became a chef and moved to the city and was there for a couple of years, and I just worked, and you know, it kicked my ass a little bit, to be honest. It was flat out. It was most days were 16-hour days, and it's just constantly, obviously, in a hot environment with lots of people, and emotions are high, and you know, surrounded by blokes that are just like to stroke their ego a little bit and, you know, compete against each other, and at the end of the day you're just absolutely buggered. And I think the longest week I did was 110 hours, and that was over the Melbourne spring racing, like the horse racing carnival, and I was absolutely exhausted by the end of it. And I think I don't even know how I managed to get home and up the elevator and into my apartment at the time, and I think I probably slept for the next few days off straight, and just, you know, get back up and do it all again, because it's part of the passion. And it's just, yeah, it's a really strange career when you think about how much really goes into it, and you know what's expected of you as a person. And you know, like having a day off sick is just, blasphemy. Like, you can't do that. It's letting the whole team down, and you feel really guilty about it all, and sometimes you just, what do? Which I think is terrible, because any other job, you of course stay home. You don't want to get anyone else sick, and especially working with food, it's just the last thing that you'd want to do would make other people sick. But it's the things you do just to, essentially, when you're in a kitchen, like you're working so many hours with each other, and it becomes like your little family, because you're there together and you go through everything together, and all the hard nights and all the great times and stressful times when food critics would come in, and but at the end of it, you have a drink and go out for dinner and laugh it all off and start again the next day. So it's just this big cycle of up and down and crazy. But yeah, I'm not doing that full time anymore. I just got a bit too much, and I started to get a really bad skin condition. I'd get little, I guess the way you explain, little blisters on my skin and on my hands. They were just really painful, and it got to the point, because they'd start off as blisters and they'd dry out, and then my skin would crack, and then it'd start to bleed, and it would just start all over again. And every time you'd touch something, as you'd imagine, having the cracks in your hands, like, if you're touching some lime or anything that was acidic, it just, oh man, it would burn so much. And you have to go to bed with gloves on, like, white Michael Jackson gloves, and look all sexy in bed and covered in cream, and it wasn't a very good quality of life. It got to the point where I couldn't even hold a knife and fork or tie my shoelaces. It was just that much pain, and so I've decided that I needed a bit of a break and do something a little bit different, and that's when Mum and I opened the shop together, and haven't looked back. It's just been fantastic. It's a bit more freedom, and I get to talk to really lovely people every single day, which is fantastic. I've got some of the best customers in the world, I reckon. They just come in and have a really nice chat, and get to know them, and it's really sweet. So I'm really happy with everything at the moment, as in work-wise. It's just, I think it was meant to be. Actually, sold one of my cross stitches in the shop the other day, which was amazing. I found a free pattern online that said maybe wine will help, and then I had a couple of little floral decals on the side, and this old man came in, and he's like, oh, I know, someone would absolutely love this. I used to cross stitch when I was younger, and had a really good chat, and it was really lovely. And it's actually really nice to speak to men who cross stitch as well, because it's not something that's super common. It's one thing that a lot of comments that I get, and I see it online a lot, is that it's such a granny skill. Like, it's something that people quite often just have a bit of a giggle over, and oh, what are you doing this Friday night? Oh, sitting at home cross stitching with my cats. But to be honest, I'd rather be doing that than going out partying, because that's ridiculous to me. It's just, I couldn't think of anything worse, especially this time of year when it's so cold. Yuck. I'll be snuggled up on the couch with a kitty and cross stitch, and I usually listen to podcasts or audiobooks while I'm stitching as well, so that's keeps it interesting. And I just finished book 2 of the Bargainer series, which is, I think it's Laura Thalassa, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Laura. I'm into YA and fantasy sort of books, which I never thought I'd really sort of be that interested in, but it's a really good way to escape. If you're having a really rough day or something, you just pick up a book that's just something that's so different and unique when it comes to the goings on of you know, obviously there's a lot of magic and fairies and kings and queens and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, no, it's just a really good escape from reality. And I've just gotten absolutely addicted to it. I got really hooked on it probably early last year. And I think since then, I'm up to about 70 odd books that I've read, which I think is pretty crazy. My shelf's getting pretty full. But some of them are just absolutely fantastic though. One of my favourite authors is, it's pretty cliche, but Sarah J. Maas, for those of you that know the young adult sort of scene. She's just a phenomenal writer. Just really takes you away, and the world building is fantastic, and the character development, and you fall in love with them. And it's, you know, you finish the book and you're like, oh, I miss my friends, they're gone. Like, you just get addicted to it. So I've got a massive to be read pile sitting in my room at the moment. It's very big. There's probably maybe 50 odd books, which is crazy. Oh man, it's going to take me a really long time to read them. But it's sort of like what I'm sure you'd understand when it comes to cross stitch, is that it's addictive to just buy the stuff, which is terrible because it's, you know, you buy more than you need, but at the same time, yeah, could be handy one day. I mean, books, of course, they're handy. I do a lot of I visit different op shops or thrift stores, and just try and find books that I've got on my list. I use that Goodreads app, and it keeps track of all the books you've read and the books that you want to read, and it's just fantastic. I love jumping on there after. I usually read when I go to bed at night, and then I jump on there and you can track what page you're up to or how much percentage where you're going, and yeah, it's really cool. So I highly recommend that if you haven't jumped on Goodreads yet, and if you're into books. And it's got hundreds of thousands and millions of titles that you can find on there. It's not for shopping. It's just it just keeps track of your lists, and you know, you can do a challenge and catch up with your friends on there and do all kinds of things. Just gonna change my floss. So I sit, when I do this one, on my couch in the lounge room, and I find the most comfortable way is sitting cross-legged, which is, I don't know, it's probably not great for your back. I do get pretty sore after a little while, and my shoulders and arms and things. I just have what am I doing? I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. I can't remember. Two things at once. I'll just show you. This is my this is what I've got my floss on at the moment. It's an old earring. Because I saw someone mention something about putting their floss on rings of some kind, like, so, you know, shower curtains and different things. And I'm just like, oh, hang on a minute, I've got an old earring that I don't wear anymore. That's perfect. So I just loop it around there. And it's really easy to get off, because you just find my needle. You just find a single strand and just pull it. It comes out nice and easy, and then I put my earring to the side, thread my needle. I was my last project, I hadn't discovered that yet, and I was working just straight from the paper I think they're called bobbins, the paper ones, and I just pull off a length at the time, and go from there, but it just got a bit messy and tangled and a bit awkward. So I thought, see what happens, make something a bit different out of it. I'll show you also how I do the loop start, which I'd been doing backwards for a little while, and then I watched another Flosstuber's video the other day and saw how she did it from the top. I'm like, oh, it's so much easier. I don't have to turn over my sleeve thing all the time. So you go in from where you would normally start. Pull it through to about there, so you've got the little tail. And then up through the next one. And then just loop it through the loop. I've got too much. And then you pull it. And then you notice that the loop is on the top there. And you just go back down the same one that you just came up through. And that pulls the loop through to the bottom. And you're good to go. I think it's genius. I didn't know that was actually even the method until I joined a few groups on Facebook and things, and I was always just doing the waist knots, and apparently that's really not good. More so just for framing and things. Apparently you can make a bit of like it raises it up a little bit from the back, and it's not so even, but if it works for you, who cares? And if you don't really care about that finish, if it's a little bit bumpy or it's not perfectly straight, then it doesn't matter at all. Just personal preference. So I think I might leave it there anyway. It's good to check in again, do something a little bit different, and so you can see my progress on this one in real time instead of just the time lapse. I'm not sure if you can see it too well, but I'll zoom out. But I'm coming along with page 5. So I'll just take that off the stand because it's not going to work. So that's page 5. So I've got this part of the pattern to go just down the bottom here. So just all that there, and that'll probably do maybe down to there also. So it's coming along, probably, I don't know, maybe a couple of days, and I should be all done with that page and getting my time lapse done. So that'll be up very soon, which should be cool. I love all the detail in this part. I was a bit intimidated when I first took that page out to do, and as I've started to do it, I actually really quite enjoy it. I just use my ruler along the page with a bit of black tape, and it makes it easier to visualise it, and yeah. So there's a little bit of back stitching in this one. There's not too much. This little birdie has a little leaf in its mouth, and there's another bird that goes down in here, in this corner here, which is really pretty. So yeah, it's coming along nicely. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.